All right, folks, a real special treat for us here on this Wfxr, WFXRTV.com. And right now we have a basketball legend, one of the pioneers when it comes to women's basketball, Hall of Famer Sheryl Swoopes. And Miss Sheryl, thank you for being here with me.
You're welcome. Thank
You're
you for
awesome.
having me.
You're awesome.
I appreciate that.
Well, first of all, I just got to ask you this. Where'd your love for basketball come from? Where did that start?
Well, my brothers are probably going to say from them. I just, I started playing ball when I was 7. And growing up in a small town, there was really not much else to do. And that was the only way my mom would actually let me out of the house if I said I'm going to play ball with my brothers. So I love the competitiveness of it. I love the fact that me playing basketball, made me feel invincible, as crazy as that may sound. But that's where I got my confidence, my self-esteem, and I just started playing when I was 7, and at an early age, I knew that there was something in me, honestly, that wasn't in a lot of other girls. And I knew that was sort of my ticket to change my life. And thankfully, I went down that road.
And speaking of changing your life, I mean, you've done so much in the game of women's basketball and basketball in general. I mean, to your progression at Texas Tech, winning those national championships. Talk about that time at Texas Tech and how you got things rocking and rolling out there.
The crazy thing is that, again, growing up in a small town, when I graduated, I thought I wanted to leave home. I was one of those kids that can't wait to leave home, get away from my mom. So I initially committed to the University of Texas in Austin. I was there for 7 days and said, this is not the place for me. It just wasn't the right fit. So I decided to transfer and go back, be closer to home, went to junior college for 2 years, and then I transferred to Texas Tech. And I can tell you that was the best decision I ever made. And a lot of people look at going to junior college and say, but why? For me, it was one of those things where I didn't want to have to sit out a year. And it not only prepared me to be a Division I basketball player, but prepared me how to balance being a student athlete in the classroom and on the court, and was one of the best decisions I ever made.
And then the decision you made to go to Texas Tech led to a national championship. Take me back to that time when you young ladies brought it home to Lubbock.
First of all, no one knew where Texas Tech was, and no one knew where Lubbock, Texas was. So This was back in 1993, and to have an opportunity to not just play in the Final Four, which was in Atlanta at the time, but to win a national championship, like everyone says, that put Lubbock and Texas Tech on the map. And just an opportunity for a lot of because we were girls at the time, but for a lot of girls from West Texas, from small towns, to have an opportunity to play in the Final Four, to win a national championship. I always say to people, it doesn't really matter where you come from, who you are, what school you go to. If you're good enough to make it happen, you can make it happen, and people will recognize that. So we just, everyone on that team accepted their role. We had fun playing with each other, and we just wanted to represent, and I thought we did a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, obviously, when you win a national championship, you did do a pretty good job.
Not too
bad at all. And then, the 86 team, the 96 team that won the Olympics, so you were back in Atlanta.
Dang,
and talk
86.
about, 86. No, you're not. I got my numbers. See, I probably need to go get my education better.
Right.
I had the 6 right. I was close. I had 3 of the 4. Like, if we had picked 4, I had 3 of the 4. They're right there.
Okay.
But the 96 team, I mean, you went back to Atlanta, you won the Olympics, and just share some of those experiences.
Man, I just say I've been very blessed throughout my life and in my basketball career. God kind of put me at the right place at the right time, and having an opportunity to play alongside some of the best that's ever been a part of the game. Dawn Staley, Lisa Leslie, Katrina McClain, Teresa Edwards. I could go on and on and on, but what a blessing. And I was, on that 96 team, I was one of the youngest on the team. So I'm looking up to the Teresa Edwards and Katrina McClain because they had been there before. And so I wanted to watch and learn and figure out what this Olympic thing is all about. But man, having an opportunity to play on one Olympic team is absolutely a dream come true. Not many people get that opportunity, but then to be a part of 2 more. if I had to sit down and write it, I couldn't have planned it any better. But to represent, your country and on one of the biggest stages or the biggest stages in sports, and you're playing against some of the best competition from other countries. It was because of that '96 Olympic team that WNBA started. That was our opportunity to show people that not only can we play the game, but we're pretty good. So we took a lot of pride in who we were at that time and representing ourselves and the team and just representing women in sports in general. And thankfully, we did something right because we were a part of the WNBA starting.
You mentioned the star of the WNBA, which segue, you got a little TV term, a little segue action. One of the founding players of the WNBA, just talk about just getting your starting up the NBA and getting that rocking and rolling to where it is today. I mean, you're the pioneer. If it wasn't for what you young ladies did in '96, we wouldn't have the WNBA that we have today.
Well, here's the sad thing is that there were so many players, that came before me. You look at the Nancy Liebermans and Lynette Woodards and Annie Myers. I mean, those were some players that were great in their own right, but unfortunately didn't have an opportunity to play in the WNBA. And which is still the case today. So many players still continue to go overseas to play, but being the first player to sign a contract to play in the WNBA, I took a lot of pride in that as well. I looked at that as that this is my baby. I'm going to do my part to make sure that not only is it successful back then when it started, but I continue to try to be a spokesperson for it and do my part to help market and promote the league because it's a great league. The talent in the WNBA is like no other. I think it is the best professional league there is. So I felt very blessed at the time to have an opportunity to play in this country and do what I love and not have to go overseas to do that. And I still have a great sense of pride of where the league is today. And like I said, if people out there have never watched a WNBA game, you're missing out on some great entertainment. The girls are, they're tough, they're strong, they're competitive, and they're good. So I feel very blessed that I had an opportunity to be a part of it.
And a couple of other quick questions. The college game on the women's side has just been tremendous. I mean, the things that has been going on there. I mean, from your perspective, talk a little about the women's game of college basketball because that has really taken off, even from the time you played to where it is today.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even when I played back in the day. It was.
I thought you were gonna rap a little bit back in the day when I was a young. I was a kid.
Right there. You don't want to hear that.
Hey, we could though. Little rap action there. Later on.
But even then, you had 4 teams that people didn't expect to be in the Final Four, and we were just lucky enough that we won it. But when I look at the college game today, and I know people use this word all the time, there's so much parity in the league today. And, for a while, and I'm not saying that UConn is out of it because that's what Gino does. He recruits, he gets great players to come play for him. But if you look over the last, 3 years, the Final Four, it hasn't been UConn. And I think that's great for the game. When you can look at it and see, I think what Dawn Staley's doing with South Carolina is amazing. And I will say this because I am here in Virginia. Mm-hmm. My teammate at UVA, Tina, I think she's doing a phenomenal job recruiting, and it's not going to be long before they're doing the same thing. So Tina, I just put you out there. Look back.
No pressure.
And then Baylor winning last year, Notre Dame. You're always going to have those teams at the top. But when I look at some of the other schools and the up-and-coming talent out of high school, I don't know what they're putting in the water these days or what these kids are eating. But, I mean, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're quicker, they're faster. And that's great for women's sports, period, not just basketball. So I'm excited about not only where the WNBA is, but where women's basketball is, where, all of these young athletes coming up who are participating in sport. I think it's a great thing to see it.
Yeah. And then, obviously, tonight you're here in Roanoke. You've been here the last couple of days. You're here for a special event. Talk a little bit about that. And obviously, your motivation, your story actually helps people motivate them. But just talk about being a part of a special event here in Roanoke, with the Renaissance Academy and just the things that you discuss and talk about when you go out and you speak to people, particularly young people?
Well, to have an opportunity to, travel the world in the fact that people want to hear my story. I take a lot of pride in that because I was these young kids, growing up, and just knowing the importance of the community surrounding you and the community supporting you and caring about you, like that goes a long ways. And I think what Sheryl is doing with the Renaissance Academy is like no other, and I've learned a lot about who he is and what he stands for in the short time that I've been here. And I can tell you, he's a good dude, for those that don't know, and he's real. He's genuine, he cares. So for me to have an opportunity to come here and speak at the banquet tonight, and when they could have gotten anybody to come, I'm sure, I'm honored. I will not talk long because kids aren't going to sit there that long. They're like, okay, just say what you got to say and be done. But I do feel like what I will talk about and what I will speak on tonight will not only, benefit these young men and women, but I'm sure there will be some adults in the room that I can connect with, and when I speak, it's not about me sitting there, just looking up stuff and putting things down. It comes from the heart, and it's my story and it's my journey, and my hopes are that I will be able to at least inspire one person in that room to not give up, when things get tough and you feel like there's nowhere else to go and you don't have people around you. Just continue to push and continue to fight, and the sky's the limit. I love what I do. I feel very blessed that God has allowed me to do the things I do, and I'm so honored that they have welcomed me here and they want me to be here, and I'm excited about tonight.
Well, Sheryl, I got to tell you this. It's an honor for me to even sit here, have this conversation with you, as we'll have on WFXRTV.com. You're a blessing, and thank you so much for giving me time, and good luck for the rest of your life, your career, and whatever else, because you are giving so much back, and doing this tonight is big time. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for
You're a
having
sweetheart.
me.
What
about our rap?
Oh, no, I'm not done.
No, it's okay.
No, I was going to wrap it.
No,
We're going to wrap it.
I'll listen.
We're going to wrap it.
I'll give you a beat.
There you go. Oh, give me something. What you got? Freestyling? That put you on the spot? No. We'll save it.
Let's save it.
We'll save it for the B-side. We'll put it on the B-side.
I like that.
People probably don't know what a B-side is. What's an album?
Oh, it sounded good.
Yeah, there you go. There's 8 tracks and all that. So we got all that in there. But anyway, the sweet and wonderful, sweet Sheryl Swoopes. See, all S's. See, the triple S action.
Did you work on that?
It just came freestyling. That's where it came from.
I like
Good
that.
stuff. Well, anyway, we appreciate you, Miss Sheryl, and safe travels as you leave Roanoke and all your good stuff. And again, this is the Hall of Famer, Basketball Hall of Fame. We have royalty in the house. Miss Sheryl Swoopes right here on WFXRTV.com. Hope all of your teams are winners. I'm Jermaine Ferrell. Have a wonderful and blessed day, morning, and night, everybody.